Good morning, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Today is Sunday, September the 21st. Yep, September the 21st, 2025. And this is my Flosstube channel. If you're new, welcome. This is where I talk about all the cross stitch. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching and following along and commenting and all the things. We got a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to jump right into it. Did I get everything worked on that I wanted to get worked on? Of course I did it, because I always overextend myself with my stitching. But I did get this much done. So I did approximately half of the Monopoly stitching, so we'll carry that over for one more week. I got my gridiron grind stitching done. I went a little bit over, just 10 stitches over, because one of the games I play on Facebook, I needed an even 100. I almost got all of my bake-off stitching done. I am missing one. I'll carry that over into this coming week. I did miss a temperature stitch, and I did not get to James Steen. It's been kind of a busy week. Yesterday, I thought I would be able to get all of that done, but I had a really busy day yesterday and Saturday. Boys came back on Friday, and on Saturday, I had to go grocery shopping, and then I made lunch when we got home, and then I had to take my older one out driving. So we drove around for a little while. Because of our schedule, I haven't been able to take him out driving very often. And so we had only been doing parking lots, and he was like, I don't want to do a parking lot. And I was like, okay, let's go around the neighborhood then with other cars present. And he was like, okay. And then of course he was nervous, but then he felt comfortable, and we went out and drove and all that. And so we were driving for probably hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I had to make dinner. Well, I stitched a bit, and then I had to make dinner. We made sushi. Oh, I'm going to insert a sushi picture here. It was so good. It was so good. Of course, I made too many ingredients, so we do have some stuff left over, so I'll probably just make myself a sushi bowl or something for lunch today. But then I forgot I had to go to Walmart to get a few things, so I let him drive me to Walmart too. So yeah, I was gone a good portion of the day, and yeah, I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done, but that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into the stitching. So I'm going to do the Monopoly stitching I was able to get done. First up is going to be Coffee Break. This is a kit from Designworks. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Artwork is by Krista Hamrick. Currently in this block right here. And for Monopoly, I needed to do 300 stitches. I'm using everything that came in the kit, so it's on a 14 count white Aida. I feel like I'm really far away. I have the camera sitting back a little bit further than I usually do. Okay, so this is where I got to. And you see, I think I carried the border over and down. Worked in this cup a lot. This is, I think, the straw or something coming out right there. I did screw something up with the ice over here. So I realized it after I had put in the lighter color. So I decided to come back up here and just start up at the top and start working my way down. And since they're lighter colors, I'm just going to stitch over with the correct color. And I'll figure it out. But I got my 300 stitches done. And I'll just keep trucking along with the cross stitching, and as some of this gets done, I'll start in on the back stitching, so it'll have a line over here and then it'll say iced coffee. And the plan is to get that block completed before I move on to the next one. When that's going to happen, I have no clue. All right, so there's that one. Next up is going to be somewhere. Bear with me, because obviously I don't work on these in order on my board. Here it is. And of course, did I take the time to organize it before I started filming? No, I did not. So next up is going to be the sewing desk. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. This is regular size, regular color, and it is 525 by 375, and it has 87 colors. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am currently working in the bear up here. So for Monopoly, I just needed 200 stitches. I'm doing this 25 count 2 over 1/10 stitch, and that's where I got to with it. See all these, I've been working on this in various ways. That's everything I've gotten done. I've been working on this in various ways, and then I decided that I want to go back to cross country on my stuff for a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. Working in park threads, doing cross country. Parking, like on this, like I parked these. I parked these over here. Basically right now I'm working in park threads and ending them unless that thread is going out farther than the area that I want to work in right now. And then I park that until I get closer to it. I am now sitting at 11,595 stitches completed out of 196,875. I am at 5.89%. So as this comes out for the remainder of the year, I will continue working in the bear. All right. And then the final Monopoly piece is the piece I have assigned to go. And that is Dreaming of Autumn Leaves. This is by Rosewood Manor, designed by Karen Kluba. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am in the top part right now. And I'm doing this with a call for thread. It's a they're all various weeks dye works, and I'm doing a 2 over 1 full cross on a 32 count Lugana in the color, oh, cream. Okay, so this piece is going to be the death of me. I mean, just one side of it really is going to be the death of me. All right, let me show you what I did. So I needed 500 stitches because this is assigned to go and free parking. So I needed 200 stitches for, I needed 200 stitches for go and then another 300 for free parking. So I needed 500 this week, which I did. I finished this here. Not gonna lie, I don't remember everything I did. I think it was this word here. Did I do this last time? I don't remember. I finished some stuff that was up here, pretty sure. I came over here and I started working in this area. That's where most of my stitches went. And I realized as I started doing this, like this here, that this was up too high. And I was like, what the heck? I don't know what I did wrong. And then I realized that this leaf has 2 columns of that yellow thread. And this one only has 1. This one here, it's like and both columns are 4 stitches, but one column is down lower, right? And so this thing goes off of the one that's 3rd down. Yeah, I totally screwed that up. Totally screwed this up right here. It didn't even put it in the right spot compared to if I had, you know, whatever. So it's up too high, this whole section right here. I think this might be up too high as well. I'm not really sure. This might be right. It might just be this area right here, but I got so pissed off. And I was messaging Alara and I was like, it's going to timeout. And it did for a few days. And I had like 457 stitches out of 500. And I was like, all right, you know what? I just need to suck it up and I will frog it later. Because I do need to frog it. I can't just leave it. I can't work around it. It's just too close to it's too offset. And this is very symmetrical. So I came over here and I started on this leaf over here. Because this side I've had no issues with over here. So for now, it's going to stay out. Well, for Monopoly, it's going to stay out. And I'll just keep working down this way. That's what I'm going to do. Over here, well, I'll have to frog this. And then I got to double check because I need to add, actually, no, this does need to come out because I need to add, actually, maybe not. I might just need to fix this part right here. I'll have to look and see. I gotta double check. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so mentally in my head, as I was finishing this over here, I was like, you know what this section reminds me of? In the autumn, when you have all the nice, pretty autumn leaves, which is the whole point of this piece, right? And then you have the section of autumn where it's very wet. It's very wet outside, you know, and the leaves that are on the ground, they get wet and gross, and you know, you think you're all like hopping along on the nice pretty leaves and you slip on the wet leaves and you bust your ass and break your tailbone. I've never had that happen to me before because I live in Florida, but I've seen it on TV. But that's what this section right here, that's what I think of when I think of that section. The gross part of autumn that's wet and slippery. And you hate your life. That's what that section reminds me of. Okay, so yeah, gotta fix that part. Again, that'll be the second time I've had to frog that section. I'm like, that's why I'm so frustrated. It's the same area, the same leaf, actually. It's the exact same leaf that I had to frog before, but now more is frogged. Come here. Mr. Whiskers, come here, baby. He's coming. Come here. Hang on. Oh, never mind. He ran. Okay. All right. So that was all my Monopoly stitching. Let's do gridiron grind. Okay. So gridiron grind. I'm probably going to have my plans video linked below, and I do not have this in my plans. So gridiron grind is a game that Kim Hollenback created. She is Spartan Stitcher on Instagram. She's an admin on Full Coverage Fanatics, and she created this game to combine cross stitch and football. You can use whatever stats you want. But the premise is you have a whip dedicated to the team that you're supporting, and you do stitches based off of whatever you feel like. Some people have a list of different stats that they assign points to, like rushing yards and passing yards, and if this particular person scores a touchdown, if this particular person passes the ball to this particular person. Some people have whips assigned to both the home team and then a whip assigned to an away team, not like a particular away team. Some people will have 2 whips because there's 2 teams that are supported in the same house, all that jazz. So Kim started the game. I know that Jessie Marie Does Stuff and Stitching Mommy are both doing this. It's for American football, not soccer, by the way. Not rest of the world football. Okay, so I don't football. Like I said last week, I don't football, but I do FOMO. Don't do football, but I do FOMO, and I wanted to participate. So even though I don't watch football, I'm Googling the football scores because I don't watch football. I watch the Super Bowl. That's about it. So I picked 2 whips. I picked the whips that I had my children pick out when I completed the Haid sale last year. The prize was all the charts that were available for the sale, plus 2 off of the Haid website, Heaven and Earth Designs. And so I let my kids each pick a project off of the website that I would do for them. Since my older son plays football for his school, his whip is assigned to our home team, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then I have a whip assigned to my younger one. His whip is assigned to the away team. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing 10 stitches per point for both teams. The winning team, their whip gets an extra 100 stitches, and if the gap in the score is greater than 10, then like if it's 29-19, then that winning team will get an additional 100 stitches. So hang on. Okay. So my older son, the one whose piece is assigned to the Buccaneers, his piece is Bathy Scaife. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Jacek Jurka. I'm in this section, this very dark gray-brown section up here. This piece is 450 by 451, has 88 colors. I am doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugano. This past week, I think it was Monday was the game. The Bucks played the Texans and the Bucks won 20-19. So Peyton's piece needed 200 stitches for the game itself, and then for winning an extra 100, so he got 300 stitches on his piece, and that is where I got to with it. I am now sitting at 1,030 stitches completed out of 202,950. I am at 0.51%. It doesn't look like anything right now, I know. I think on camera it looks like just a blob of the same color, but there are different colors in this, I promise. I swear there's different colors in this. It's just hard to see. But one of the 3371, one of the dark browns, it actually, when I have it pulled up, it outlines the chair, but there's so much of it that I was like, oh, maybe I'll just work on outlining the chair. I don't know if I want to do that though, because I will literally just be working on that the entire football season, I feel like. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, just picking colors and working the thread. So his piece got 300 stitches. And then my younger one, Lachlan, his piece is Afternoon Tea. Again, charted by Hayde. Artwork is by Randall Spangler. It's 381 by 487 and it has 89 colors. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. That gold border is part of the whip, and I am doing it. So right now it's just border. A little bit of the leaves in the background, but it's border. This is also being done 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. Ah, sorry. Knocking stuff over. Okay, so his the away team scored 19 points, so he needed 190 stitches. I ended up doing 200 because one of the games I play on Facebook, I needed an even 100 stitches, and you know, it's 10 stitches over. Who cares, right? So I did 200. And this is where I got to. Hang on one second. Accidentally closed out Pattern Keeper. I am now sitting at 699 stitches completed out of 184,805. I am at 0.38%. So Peyton's piece has more stitches, but Lachlan's piece is not that far behind because it's smaller. So yeah. All right. And the Bucks have a game today at 1. I want to say they're playing the Falcons, maybe. I think that's what I saw. So, all right. I'll probably bring that up again later in my plans. Okay. Let's do... hang on. Where's all my stuff? Oh, let's do the temperatures. Okay, so the temperature whips, I did not get to one of them. That's fine. This is just extra stuff. Okay, so temperature whips. I think this is in my, I'm not explaining Monopoly, but temperature whips, I have my whips of shame, my really, really old projects that are over 10 years old. I have one whip assigned to 2 numbers, so I got 5 in my temperature rotation. So I look at the forecasted temperatures for the upcoming week, and I do 100 stitches. I take the temperature, so if it's a forecast of 89 degrees in Fahrenheit, I take the whip assigned to temperature 9 and I do 100 stitches. So first one is going to be, because this is not in order. It's just the one I pulled out. Frederick. His temperatures came up 1 time. Oh, this is a kit by Creative Accents. Artwork is by Charles Wysocki. This is still available under Dimensions. But his temperatures came up 1 time this week, and I'm using everything that came in the kit, and it's a 14 count black Aida. So he got 100 stitches this week. And this is where I got to with it. So I did all of the cross stitching in the book. That is completed. I was going to start back stitching, but when I got the cross stitching done, it was at 96 stitches and I needed 100. And I was like, I am not about to do 4 stitches of back stitching. So I still had this thread from filling this in up here. I was like, you know what? I'll just put it in the bottom border down there. So I did 4 stitches of that bottom bookshelf border part. That's all of it so far. So when this comes out again, I will do the back stitching on this book. That way I can get that book completely done. But yeah, he got 100. And then my plan is to switch at 2,000 stitches total and have you guys vote for the replacement. Okay, next temperature whip is going to be a Dimensions Gold Collection. This is Aurora Cabin. Artwork is by Kim Norling, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am in the upper right-hand corner right now. Up there. Using everything that came in the kit, so it's a 16 count gray Aida. And this piece needed 200 stitches, and that is where I got to with it. Of course, everything up here is like half stitches, so it was really 400 stitches I did, but it's 2 half stitches counts as 1 stitch. So yeah. And it's hard to see on camera, but there's like a pink and orange here. You can barely see it. I don't think you can see it on camera, but in person there's like a blending filament that you have to do, like the overlay where you do the plain thread, and then you go back over with the blending filament. And this is the start of a tree that's going to come down. So yeah, and that's everything I've done so far. Looks so good. Looks really good. So this got 200 stitches. I've seen pictures of this stitched up on the Facebook, and it's really pretty. So I know it's going to turn out good. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm excited. And then the next temperature whip is going to be another Dimensions Gold Collection. This one is Bless This Nest. No, In Her Garden. Bless This Nest. In Her Garden, designed by Sandra Cuck. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm in the most boring section that you could possibly be, up here. And this piece, its temperature came up 1 time, so it got 100 stitches. But it was really 200 because it was all, just about all of it was half cross. And this is everything that came in the kit, so it's on a 18 count ivory Aida. And this is where I got to. Filling in more boring ass background. This really is boring ass background. Hard to see on camera, but there actually is like a lot of color changes. Really hard to see on camera though. I think at least from my end right now, we might be able to see it once it's uploaded. I've noticed that sometimes it's like, oh, you can't see anything, and then you can. So I don't know. From what I can see right now, you can't really see the different colors, but there's actually, holding it back a little bit, you can kind of see it. Maybe if I angle it like that, you can kind of see it a little bit better. But anyway, fuzz. Okay. What was I saying? That got 100. And then the final temperature whip I was able to get to. I did not get to Magnificent Wizard. That's okay. No big deal. The final temperature whip I was able to work on was, this one is Bless This Nest. And this is a small little kit from Busilla. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. and its temperature came up 2 times. So this got 200 stitches. And I am pleased to report that I finally completed that bird right there, that bird section right there. Thank God. I never thought I was going to get that done. And I came over here and started working on this. So this section is completely complete, as is this. I know there's like white space, but you know, it's a kit from the 90s, so early 2000s. I don't know. That's what they did back then. The only thing left on this section is the back stitching that goes along the border here, but I needed to bring this over to the end, which I did. So I could potentially finish this thread and then do that line of back stitching. That way that's completed, but this section here is completely complete as well. So I will continue working on completing this part here. I probably will not, I do not believe that I will complete this before the goal is done. I don't think so, because I got to do all the cross stitching in here and backstitch the word. And that backstitching actually takes up a lot of counting, and I do count my backstitch. So towards my goal. So if I didn't, I would never get the backstitching done. So I need to count the backstitching. So that got 200. Okay, Bake Off. So for a Great British Bake Off show on Netflix, it's over in the UK. But we're, this is for, my stitching is a week behind because I film on Sundays. So when episode 1 aired, it aired on Friday, and I was like, well, I'll just announce that I'm going to do it on Sunday. And so my stitching is a week behind. But anyway, Jessie Marie Does Stuff created this game, and I did some adjustments. Last year I had a lot of stuff with it. This year I'm like, okay, well, I want to do it, but I need to drop the stitch count down because of everything I got going on. So I have a whip assigned to each baker. If anyone gets a handshake from Paul Hollywood, their whip gets 100 stitches, because a Hollywood handshake in Bake Off world is a big deal, and he doesn't do them often. So if anyone does get a handshake, that means that they did a really, really good job on their bake, and their whip will get 100 stitches. I wanted to try to keep it an even amount that wasn't too low, so I decided that first in technical and last in technical, which is the second part of the episode, whoever comes in first and whoever comes in last in the technical, their whips will get 100 stitches. And then whoever gets Star Baker, which is basically they won that week, their whip will get 200. And whoever gets eliminated, their whip will get 300, because for the game, their whip is done, so they get the most. Okay, so first up is, so let me just, and I'm not telling you who got assigned what project, because there are some people that want to play that are behind with their episodes, so I don't want to spoil it by saying, oh, this one is assigned to Bob and they got eliminated. So I'm just telling you what whips get the amount of stitches that they need, if that makes sense. It'll probably make more sense when I talk about my plans, because I got to talk about what whips get what stitches. Okay, so first up is Holiday Quaker. This is by Leela Studio. And this whip, their person, I think, got last in technical. So I needed to do 100 stitches. I'm using the called for threads. It's a combination of gentle arts. Yeah, it's a combination of different gentle arts. And I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 32 count Lugana in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. I really like this fabric a lot. I think if I need to get more fabric, if I need to get more like blue fabric, I will probably get more of this because I really like it. And so this is my 100 stitches. I was trying to hold it back so you could see. It's like it's almost like if you're familiar with other blue dyers, like people who dye like the light blue, it's kind of resembling Summer Sky a little bit. That's what it reminds me of, Summer Sky. But I did my 100 stitches in the center part of this motif right here. So when this comes out again, I will continue working on this to complete it. And I think after that, I may try to come over here and start working maybe down. I think that's what I might do. There's a motif that's not too far away from this one here. I might try to work on that one there. I think. Don't know yet. I'm still working on this one. So, and as you all know, I like to change my mind about stuff. So that got 100. And then the person who got first in technical, I was not able to get to their whip. So I am going to hold it out for an additional week to see if I can. Do it. Okay. Then the person who got Star Baker, or actually I think the one I didn't get to either was first in technical or, where's my notebook? Oh, here it is. Never mind. Let me correct myself because I wrote it down. Okay, so I'm doing week 2. Yeah, okay, so the one I wasn't able to get to was first in technical. Okay, the one who got Star Baker also got a handshake that week. So their piece needed the 200 for Star Baker and the 100 for a handshake, so 300 total. And that whip is Patchwork Quilt Room. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. This is the max color version. I'm in the upper left-hand corner. And it is 700 by 490. It's got 238 colors. Just real quick, that's the section I'm working in right now. And I'm doing it 2 strands full cross on a 20 count easy count Aida. Why I'm doing this on a 20 count Aida, I have no clue. I think it was just like, oh, let me try this fabric for a full coverage. And let me just show you the part I'm working on first. There's my 300. Doesn't look like much, but this section right here is a, this whole area right here is like a quilt. That's all of it so far. I now have a total of 8,059 stitches completed. Out of 343,000, I am at 2.35%. So, and these pieces, as long as their baker doesn't get eliminated, these pieces will stay in the game until their goal, because I have open goals on a lot of projects. So these pieces will stay in the game until their goal is complete. And then I will replace it with another whip that has an open goal. Okay, and then the last bake-off piece I was able to get to, this person did get eliminated. So their whip got 300. And that whip is Villa Lorna. This is charted by, hang on. This is charted by Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. She also has, stop it. She also has a Flosstube. This was a picture she had taken of a villa in the town she lives in Norway. And then she did some paint shop stuff to it to give it that look. She's actually also working on this piece. I don't know if she's actively working on it right now, but I know she's working on it. She's, of course, way further along than I am. But I'm doing this 2/1 tent stitch on a 28 count, easy count Lugana. And this needed 300 stitches. And I can't figure out my life. Hang on. You know what? Let me do it like this. Let me just show you the part that I did first, like I did with the other ones, so that would make more sense. There we go. So, got my 300 stitches in that area right there. When I started working on this, I was doing Royal Rose, and that's why I've got so many parked threads. And I got halfway across, and I decided that I didn't like the Royal Rose method because, like, it's one thing to have parked threads. This is a little excessive. Like, these are literally the same colors. Like, you'll have the same color in every single block. Like, I don't like that. So now I'm just trying to, these ones down here are parked because, again, I'm doing it like I do my other ones where I work down a certain amount and then I'm like, all right, let me just park down here while I get all of this stuff worked in. So I got all that stuff worked in and then I was getting tired of it. So I was like, let me come over here and I'll start working this way. That's what I'm doing now. I now have it, these are, I was ending on the front, so I would just clip it close to the surface, so ignore all that. But I now have a total of 11,103 stitches completed. Out of 203,040, I am at 5.47%. Okay. So, but this player got eliminated, so this whip is done for Bake Off. Okay, and that was all the Bake Off stitching. So I did Bake Off, temperatures. Okay, regular kind of like weekly stuff. I was not able to get to my alphabet piece this week, so I'm gonna try real hard to get that goal done. So my alphabet pieces, I got this idea from Jade, the 310 stitcher. Okay, I got this idea from Jade, the 310 stitcher. She alphabetized her stuff and she's going through and picking a whip out of each letter of the alphabet, and she's doing 1,000 stitches. I thought that was a great idea, but I wanted to do 500, and so that is what I'm doing. And I'm doing both full coverage and non-full coverage, but I'm on the letter J, and I still need to do 300. I'll show you when I do my plans, but I still need to do 350 stitches on my J piece, and I wasn't able to get to it. So, open goals. I have my list of projects that I have been doing. Oh my God, how do I want to say this? The people who have been watching me, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is for the people who have recently started watching me in the past couple weeks, so you know why I'm like jumping around all over the place. Beginning of the year, I put all these big goals on a lot of different projects. And over the course of the year, I have changed my goals. No, I have changed my plans. But I'm still trying to work in the whips that I can to get the goals done. If that makes sense. So, one of the things that I'm doing is I have my list of I have a list of whips that I pulled my bake-off stitching from, but I also am trying to just pull one of those pieces and just work on it till the goal's done. So this week, that piece is Hive Rules, and this is by Primrose Cottage Stitches, designed by Lindsay Waite. I'm doing it with the called for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white Jobelin, I think it is. And I'm going to show you where I worked first, and then I will show you everything that I've done. Okay. I believe it was just in this area. So I had a goal at the beginning of the year to do 4,000 stitches on this for the year. And I was down to needing, excuse me, I was down to needing 568 stitches to complete that 4,000 stitch goal. And I got that done. I actually went over and I did 605 because when I got to the 568, I want to say I was in this thing right here, and I was like, you know what? Let me just complete that banner thing. Or it was for, maybe it might have been for a game, and I was trying to get to an even 100. And then I was like, and when I got to the even 100, it was like literally just like a few stitches of this letter to get to 600. And I was like, let me just finish the letter. So I got this section up here completely done. Let me show you the whole thing. Actually, hold on, let me show you what I have left. This bottom section right here, that's all I got left. That's all I have left to do. Isn't that exciting? And I have enough fabric that I can do, I don't know if I want to do it on this color though, but I do have 4th of July rules, the pattern. I gotta look at the colors and see if it would work on a white fabric, because, you know, 4th of July in the US is like red, white, and blue, because that's the colors of our flag. And I gotta look at the pattern and see if that's gonna work. But anyway, here is everything that I have done on Hive Rules. So there's one section. So Hive Rules: be sweet like honey, mind your own beeswax, always be humble and kind, believe in yourself and others. So pretty. Maybe if I hold it like this, I can hold the, okay, now flip your television or your phone. I'm just kidding. I gotta hold it way back here to get the whole thing in the camera. But yeah, very happy with that. So I've gotten over 4,000 stitches done on that this year. So little preemptive thing, but this will get put into the finish the shit pile now, because I just have that bottom section to do. Okay, what else did I work on? I worked on portals. So one of the latest releases from Sarah at Pain Free Crafts is the 6 Portals by Rose Catherine Kahn. It is 1206 by 800. It has over 200 colors. Stop it. Oh man. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. So pretty. Okay, so I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. I had made a comment in my last video that I don't think that it would fit on 25 count, but Siske, do you have it on 25? Is it you that commented? Somebody commented that they do have it on 25 count, so it will fit. Just make sure you start in the right spot. I mean, seriously. Okay, so what I did is I'm doing this 1/1. I think I said this part, but I'm gonna repeat it. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana, and I worked scattered stitches, not solid. I worked my way across the entire top from end to end. In preparation, I knew how I wanted to tackle this piece. So, come here. I'm holding stuff and he starts walking over. I put it down so I can pick him up and he walks away. Mr. Whiskers. He's so fussy. Okay. So, what I did was I worked my way scattered stitches across the top all the way from end to end. Because what I want to do next year, which I will go over this in my plans video, I'll probably post a plans video in the next like couple months. But my plan for next year is to rotate through each portal. I was debating on just working on a portal till it was done. I was like, you know what? No, I want to rotate through each one. Because this is going to be like a really, really long-term, I had to adjust my thumb. This is going to be a really long-term piece because of the sheer size of it. And so I wanted to be able to work on all 6 portals. So what I'm doing right now is I worked my way across the entire top, and then every week I'm going through and I'm working on, I'm just throwing in like the first portal I worked on, I was only able to do 300. So now I'm doing 300 on each portal. And the portal that I worked on this week, I should probably show you that part. The portal that I worked on this week is portal number 4. I'm in the top border, so you're not going to see nothing fun. But 1, 2, yeah, the 4th one. So that's the one I worked on this week. And again, I only did 300 stitches, so it's not a lot. So I'll show you that part, and then I'll show you all of them. So worked in all these threads here. But I did 300 stitches on it this week. I am now sitting at 2,004 stitches completed out of 964,800. I am at 0.21%. This is my second largest piece. So my plan for the rest of the year will be to rotate every week through the portals. So there's portal 1. It's funny to see, depending on which direction you go with your threads, how it ends up looking. Because there's portal 1, and then there's portal 2, and they both got 300. But portal 2 looks like it has more because it goes down further. But yeah, so portal 1, portal 2, 3. 4, and then obviously I have not done 5 or 6 except for the initial stitches. So but yeah, I think I will I think my plan next year was to rotate through them, and I want to try to rotate through each portal like every, I was saying every 2 months, but I'm almost wondering if I should rotate, like do 2 months, but do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a portal a month, January through June, and then in July start back over at portal 1 and doing it that way. I'm not doing the same portal 2 months in a row, if that makes sense. I'm still thinking on that part. Okay, next up is Catching Rays. This is part of this is my whip into shape piece. Whip into Shape is a challenge created by Andrew the Runner Stitcher. And he was training for the Sydney Marathon, and then, you know, life happened and he couldn't do the marathon. But he is now going to be doing the New York City Marathon. I don't know why I said it like New York City. He's now going to be doing the New York City Marathon. I felt like it was weird when I said it earlier. And so he did an addendum to his training spreadsheet. So so earlier back in May, he had created a spreadsheet where he listed out how many miles he was running every day. And I feel like it's brighter in here now. I mean, the day has gone on, so the sun is coming out more. But he created a spreadsheet with how many miles he was running for his training every day. And you can do 10 stitches per mile that he runs. Forgot what I was trying to say. So he has carried that on to his New York City training. And I think that marathon is in November. So I'm using the same whip for both, you know, whip. Oh my God. I'm just carrying this whip on. He said, oh, if you want to change the whip, you can. I'm keeping the whip the same. So this is Catching Rays. It is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This one is my biggest piece. It's 1200 by 900. So it's over 1 million stitches, and it has 134 colors. It has 1,080,000 stitches. So this is my largest piece. I keep saying a lot because I'm trying to think of what I want to say. Okay, so I looked ahead at I'm caught up now. I was very behind, and I was like, you know what? Let me just see how many stitches I need to do to get caught up and for the potential miles he's going to run for the upcoming week, because I was able to work on it last Sunday, and I was like, I need to just bang this thing out and get it caught up. So I haven't checked to see if I actually ended up going over, because if he ends up having to cancel and do a rest day or what have you, I don't even know if I'm behind again because he ran extra one day. I don't know. I don't know if he runs extra for the training. But I did a total of 953 stitches to get caught up. Okay, I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. I don't know how to do the before photo. I think I'm going to do, I know how to do a before photo. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't know how to do this one's before photo because I worked on the side. Okay, so let me show you this part here. Okay, this is what everyone's familiar with. If you've been watching me, this is what you're familiar with. You know this is what I've been doing. And then I had briefly talked about how much I enjoyed how I was doing portals where I had worked across the top. I was like, oh, maybe I'll work down the side. And I decided, oh, that would be a great idea. Let's work down the side. So I did. So I worked down the side all the way down to the bottom. So, yeah. So now I can go anywhere along the side that I want. Oh my God, I can't even. I guess it's like portals because it's 900 wide. But yeah, so I have the whole length. I can go anywhere. Which means I don't know where I'm going to go now. Like, do I want to stay at the bottom for a little while? I don't know. I guess I'll figure that out when I get to it. But yeah, so I got 953 stitches done to get caught up on Whip into Shape. And I now have a total of 35,000. Wait, hold on. Give you something to look at. We'll look at that right there. 35,472 stitches completed. Out of 1,080,000, I am at 3.28%. So. Okay. Oh my God, this is gonna be such a long video. I haven't paused at all. I'm at an hour and I still have a lot to, wow. Why is it taking me so long to get through all this? Oh my God. Okay. Next up is my last whip. Holy cow. My last whip is my focus piece for the year. This is Honeymoon Sunset, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is 869 by 649. It has 133 colors. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm on the right-hand side right now. My goal is to get it to 50% by the end of the year. And I did 1,000 stitches on it this week. And that is where I got to. So I was doing it 2 diagonals, and then I decided I don't want to do diagonals right now, so I went back to cross country, and I've been filling this in. So I am now sitting at 262,838 stitches completed. Here we go. We'll look at this. 262,838 stitches completed out of 563,981. I am at 46.60%. So my goal for September is to get it to 47%. So I got to calculate how many stitches I need to get that done. I think it's going to be a couple thousand. So I've got to really put in some work because today's the 21st. So I really got to put some work in on this to get it to 47% by the end of the month. So I can stay on track. I don't want to fall behind on that. So I know I didn't show that for a very long time, but I show it every single week. Yeah. You know what? No, I'll show it again because I'm going to go over it in plans. Okay, so let's get these boards updated. First up, we're going to update this board here. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where I pulled like my bake-off stitching whips off of this list here. Okay. And my open goals. So Mother Nature Spring, I didn't get to yet. Hive Rules. I had 3,432 stitches completed. I did another 605. So this is increasing to 4,037, and my goal is now done. So this will come off the list. Next up, Holiday Quaker. I had 1,000. I did 100 on it, so this is going up to 1,100. And my goal is dropping from 1,000 down to 900. Villa Lorna, I did 300 stitches on it. This was one that I kind of slid in here to finish the goal off. So that's why it's, yeah. My goal is dropping from 1,500 down to 1,200. And it's now off of the list. patchwork off of the list for Bake Off. Patchwork quilt room, I had 900. I did 300 on it. Yes, I did 300. So this is going up to 1200. And my goal is dropping from 1100 down to 800, right? Yeah. Okay. Then down here, Catching Rays Marathon. I had 5,049 stitches. I did another 953. So we're just counting how many stitches I'm doing on this. That is increasing to 6,002. And then Honeymoon Sunset, I had 49,927 stitches. I did another 1,000, so this is increasing to 50,000. We're just going to do this part. 50,927. And my goal is dropping from 20,153 down to 19,153. We are under the 20,000 mark for the year for the stitches remaining. My percent complete is increasing from 46.43% to 46.60%. So there's that one. Okay. Let me pause here because I noticed what time it was. And I told the kids I would make breakfast, and it's like 10 o'clock. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to go cook them some eggs and bacon and crap. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to finish updating the boards and then talk about plants. Okay, kids have been fed, being fed, or eating. Okay, let's get these boards updated. Okay, so temperature whips. I wasn't very hungry. I'm usually not. I don't usually eat breakfast, but I had a few handfuls of mini tater tots. They're tater tots, but they're like this big. They're so cute. Okay, temperatures. Let's start with Bless This Nest. I had 900 stitches. I'm adding 200 to this total. So this is going up to 1100. And my goal is dropping from 1100 down to 900. Magnificent Wizard I didn't get to. Aurora Cabin, I had 600. I'm adding another 200 to that. So this is going up to 800, and my goal is dropping from 1400 down to 1200. Frederick, I had 600. I'm adding another 100, so that's going to be 700. I think you can hear my kid in the background. My goal is dropping from 1,400 down to 1,300. And in her garden, I had 1,100. I'm adding 100, so this is going up to 1,200. My goal is dropping from 900 down to 800. So there's that one. Okay, and then my Monopoly board. It's my current Monopoly whips. So the ones we are updating today are going to be Coffee Break, which is right here, number 4. My goal for these is 4,000. I was a little ridiculous with my goals this year. All right, so I had 2,200. I'm adding 300, so this is going up to 2,500. And my goal is dropping from 1,800 down to 1,500. Should have been a little bit more realistic and maybe set the goals like at 2,000 so I could switch projects out, but whatever. Okay, sewing desk is actually right above it. I had 1,700. I am adding another 200, so this is going up to 1,900. And my goal is dropping from 2,300 down to 2,100. What else did I work on? I worked on one more. Oh, Dreaming of Autumn Leaves. I had 200. I'm adding 500, so this is going up to 700. And my goal is dropping, as you can see, the If you're new and I said 4,000 and this math ain't mathin' right here, Nat, go away. I pulled this in from a previous list. So it's a lot. Okay, so my goal was 2,400. It is dropping down to 1,900. So there's that board. Okay, now I thought it would be fun because I have not pulled this board out in a really long time. I thought it would be fun to try to see if we could update this bad boy right here. So this is all of the whips. Now there's going to be stuff that I do not remember if I've completed the goal. It's my replacement Blue's Clues marker. It's kind of like how Steve was the original Blue's Clues guy and then he got replaced with his cousin. This is the cousin. Not as good, but it'll do. Okay. So I honestly do not remember what all goals I have completed, and we do have some pieces that need to be added to this. So we're gonna do the best we can. I'm running down the list here. Catching rays, I'm not marking off because I've completed it for Monopoly, but it's part of my whip and shake challenge. So I'm keeping it out. Have I completed any goals on here? Hive rules. Okay, here we go. I can at least mark this one off. Hive rules down here. I completed the goal. So we're going to mark that off. That's it for that side. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just like reading down the list and I'm trying to see, because I feel like there's goals that I have completed. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. This was a finish. So Year of Gnomes, June. Okay, there's that one. Okay, this is not as fun as I thought it was going to be. Cookie time, coming to room, wintertime fairy, toy shop, winter sampler. Calendar Girls October. I completed this one. You know what I think it is? I think it's because riding the wave, I completed the goal. That was my last whip of shame that I wrote down when I was doing them month by month. I think it's because I set stuff aside and then I've been pulling their whips in to try. I think I may have completed. So what I need to do is I have to go back through and see what the original goals were and how many stitches I've done on them to see if their goals have actually been completed, because I feel like there are goals. Maybe I just didn't write them down on here. I don't know. This was not as fun as I thought it was going to be. But I do need to, I'm just going to write them on here. There's no set goal for them. We're just going to put them on here because I started them. Afternoon tea. I'm not putting my temperature whips on here. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. Because this was to go with the original plans that I was doing, and that's gone out the window. I did the boys 2 pieces and 6 portals on here. But yeah, I created this board to go with the original plans that I was doing, and I'm not doing those original plans anymore. So board doesn't really apply. But I just wanted to see if there was anything I could cross off of that list. And there wasn't really a whole lot of anything I could do. Okay. Let's talk about plans. Okay, so I'm going to get the whips I need, and I will be right back. Okay, I totally forgot to tell y'all that I worked on 16 different projects this past week. I was going to mention that at the beginning of the video, and I totally didn't. Okay, so plans for the upcoming week. There's so many. First up, let's go over, what are we going to go over first? Let's go over Bake Off. Okay, so what I'm going to be stitching for is week 3, which is bread week. And for bread week, there were no handshakes. And then I've actually, so I'm going to work, hold on. I do have some catching up from week 2. I need to do 100 stitches on Mother Nature's Spring. This piece here, this is out of Just Cross Stitch magazine from 2023. And she needs 100 stitches for week 2. I'll go over fabric and all that when I actually work on them. So I'll go over fabric and threads and everything next week. But this is Mother Nature's Spring, and she will get 100 stitches. So that'll be for week 2. Okay, for week 3, nobody got a handshake. The person who got last in technical is also the eliminated person. And the person who got first in technical ended up getting Star Baker. So I've only got 2 projects for Bake Off to work on. And that first one up is going to be the person who got last in technical and also was eliminated. And that, I'm sorry to say, is Holiday Quaker. So, from Leela's Studio, just a reminder of my starting point. I'm going to be finishing this Quaker right here, this motif, and then I'm probably going to come over here and work on the one that's on the side. But this will get the 100 stitches for being last in technical and the 300 for being eliminated. So that's going to be 400 stitches for this piece. So that'll be a good chunk. Holiday Quaker, number 10. So that'll be 400 stitches. So that will bring the goal, if I can get that done this week, that'll bring that goal down to 500 left, because it's at 900 right now. So that's cool. Okay, and then the person who got first in technical and got Star Baker, their whip is Sweet Bee by Stitch Rovia. And this is my starting point with that. There we go. So this is my starting point with Sweet Bee. This will get the 100 stitches for getting first in technical and the 200 for getting Star Baker. So this will be 300 stitches this will get. I think I may continue working in this. I might continue working in this section right here. I'm not sure. But yeah. So that is my bake-off stitching, will be the catch-up piece for Mother Nature's Spring, and then those 2 pieces. So what I plan on doing is, if their piece gets eliminated, and their goal is low enough, it will become my new work on until the goal is complete piece. So I'm going to kind of jump over to that real quick because Hive Rules, its goal is completed, so it's coming off of the list. And I think some of you are going to be very happy to find out that my new work on until the goal is completed piece, because you were just as sad as I was that it got eliminated. Winter Cookie Party by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork by Amy Stewart. So this was one of my bake-off pieces, and it got eliminated in week 1. So I was very sad about that. This is my starting point. I will say what my starting stitches are for my full coverages. I'm starting off at 2,848 stitches completed out of 350,700. I am at 0.81%. To complete the goal for the year that I had set, I need 654 stitches. Is that going to get done this coming week? I do not know. I really don't. Under normal circumstances, if I didn't have all this extra stuff going on, I would say absolutely, because I could potentially complete that in one day. Potentially. Well, probably doing cross country now. I couldn't, it was iffy when I was doing diagonals and parking because it is a slower process, but doing cross country, I most likely can. I feel like I'm crooked. I just noticed that. I feel like I'm crooked. But I'm concerned that if I try to adjust, my stand is going to loosen and it's going to whoop and go completely sideways. So I'm not going to mess with it. So if I'm crooked, sorry. Okay, so that is going to stay out until its goal is done, the 654 stitches. Okay, next up is my alphabet piece. James Dean by Stitching Jewels Design. This is my J. Here we go. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. My goal with the alphabet pieces is to do 500 stitches on them and then move on to the next letter. I did not get all 500 done. I was having a rough week the week I pulled it, and I only got 150. So for this piece, I still need 350 stitches to get the 500 in. I am starting off at 5,042 stitches completed out of 12,954. I am at 38.92%. I have 7,912 stitches left in this piece. All right, so I'm gonna try to make him a priority so I can get the 350 done, and maybe next week I can pull out my whip for the letter K. Okay, so that's the alphabet piece. Okay, Monopoly. What I have left for Monopoly is Mother Nature Christmas. This is like Mother Nature Spring out of Just Cross Stitch magazine. That's what she's going to look like when she's done. And this is my starting point with her. She needs 300 stitches for Monopoly. The next one I need to work on is Halloween Calendar. This is by Tiny Modernist. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is my starting point with it. So like I said last time, I'm working on block 21, and then as I was looking at it, I realized that there's actually some back stitching on that eyeball that I need to do. So I'm probably gonna go in and do that, and then go back to the little witch. But this is gonna be 200 stitches. And I actually do have this in Pattern Keeper, so let me tell you my starting percentage. Give me 1 second, let me find it. Maybe. Hang on. Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So I'm starting off at 1,800 stitches completed out of 16,842. I am at 10.69%. Okay. And then the last Monopoly piece is going to be Reaching Skyward. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery Salve from 2023, I believe. I have two of his. One is Fruits of Plenty. Seems to be probably the most popular one on the Flosstube. That's the one I see all the time. Like, a lot of people are working. I have it started, but it's not in my active rotation. Here it is. The one I have in my active rotation for Monopoly is Reaching Skyward. And that is the mock-up with my color scheme. This piece is going to need 400 stitches for Monopoly. What are my kids doing out there? My God. Okay. So this is my starting point. I am starting off at 2,200 stitches completed out of 47,789. I am at 4.60%. So this will get 400 stitches. So that's my Monopoly. Okay. Temperatures for the week. For the upcoming week, starting with today, and these are all in Fahrenheit. Starting with today, the projected highs are 93, 89, 89. Hold on, let me start over. Starting with today in Fahrenheit, projected temperatures through next Saturday are 93, 89, 91, 91, 89, 88, 87. So, what does that mean to you? That means that Magnificent Wizard is assigned to the numbers 1. I need my temperature board. Hang on. Okay, Magnificent Wizard is assigned to the temperatures 1 and 6. This piece right here. If I can, I'm gonna do. I haven't been carrying over. I've only missed one, and that was on Frederick. I've only missed one temperature. So I may or may not try to do both of the, hold on. Like, you know how I didn't get to the 100 stitches on Wizard? I did that one other time on Frederick. I didn't get to the 100 stitches for Frederick. And I did not carry that one over. I'm debating if I'm gonna carry the temperature stitching over if I don't get to it or not. We'll see. But for right now, for this coming week, that's my starting point. For this coming week, I need 200 stitches. Like I said, I may or may not do the 100 from last week that I missed. So this might get 300, but I'm not sure. Okay, so that was Wizard. Bless This Nest is not going to get any stitches this week. It's assigned to 0 and 5, and those temperatures did not come up. Okay, Aurora Cabin is assigned to the numbers 2 and 7. and its temperature came up once. This one here. So this is going to get 100 stitches, and just a reminder of my starting point. Okay, next up is Frederick. Frederick is assigned to the numbers 3 and 8. This piece right here. So this one is set to get 200 stitches, but like I said, I did miss a week. A few weeks ago, I think it was, I did miss 100 stitches. I just couldn't get to it. So I may or may not do that this coming week, and he would get 300. So my plan with him is to do the back stitching of this book right here, and then move over to this book and work on getting this book completed. And probably the line of the books around it so that I can back stitch it. Like the line of stitching that runs alongside. That way I can back stitch. But this is set to get 200. It might get 300 to make up for that one day that I missed. Okay, and then the last temperature whip is going to be In Her Garden. This piece right here. And she is set just a reminder, she is set to also get 200. She's assigned to 4 and 9. So she is set to get 200 stitches as well. If I can get their goals, or if I can get to all of that temperature stitching in addition to the extra 100 for Frederick and Magnificent Wizard, that would drop, if I can do 300 on Magnificent Wizard, that would drop his goal down to 600. And if I could, and then In Her Garden, that would drop her goal down also to 600. So what I will probably do is if I can get both of them, you know, their stuff done, and they're both at 600, then I'm going to look at the upcoming temperatures, just plans for next week. I'm going to look at the upcoming temperatures and see where both of them fall with how many stitches need to be done. And we will vote for replacements for at least one of them. I don't know if we're going to do both. It just depends on, because they're nearing that time where they, you know, it's time to vote for a replacement. So basically I'm going to see how many, if I can get them both to the 600, I'm going to see how many times each one of them comes up in the following week, and depending on the results of that, because if, like for example, if In Her Garden only comes up one time the following week, I'm not worried about voting for a replacement as soon as I would Magnificent Wizard if he came up like 3 times or whatever. So anyway, all that to say, expect voting for a replacement in the next week or 2 on 2 pieces. Okay, Gridiron Grind. They're the Buccaneers are playing the Falcons this week or today. So whatever points the Falcons get will go on to afternoon tea. Just a reminder of my starting point with that one. And then whatever points the Buccaneers get will go on Bathyscaphe. That piece, stop it. That piece right there. And just a reminder of my starting point with that one. So I don't know what stitches I gotta do yet because the game has not happened. So the winner of that game will get an additional 100 stitches, and if their final score is 10 points or greater difference, then the winner will also get an additional 100 stitches. Okay. Whip into Shape from Andrew the Ranch Stitcher. I will continue to be on Catching Rays, the piece where I worked all down the side, right? Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do regarding where I'm going to work. Maybe I will come up from, I could always come back up here and work in these park threads. I could also just pick a section, like you see how like, this section is like really, really bright blue. I could be like, okay, well, I'll just kind of stay in this area and I will just work that work in this section right here. Or maybe I'll just come back down to the bottom, work in this section down here. I think whatever I end up doing for the week, I'm going to stay in that spot for the entire week. But what I might end up doing is whatever section I end up working in, I'm going to pick a symbol in that block and work that thread. And then I'm going to pick another symbol on that block, work that thread, wherever, up, down, to the side, whatever, wherever it goes. But I'll probably just pick a spot and work every symbol in that block, so at least that block is, you know what I mean? So at least that block is done, and we'll just kind of go from there. But at least this gives me some variety because this is a 1,000,000 stitch piece. It's going to take me many, many years to do, and I was like getting tired of that sky, honestly. I was like, okay, I gotta get it to where I can work on some other stuff besides sky. Okay, portals. Okay, this piece right here, this week I'm going to do 300 stitches in the 5th portal, so that purpley one right there. I'll be working in the top of the 5th portal. And because I've been doing 300, that is what this is going to get, will be 300. So I'll be working in this area right here. And just a reminder, okay, this area right here, just a reminder, I am sitting at 2,004 stitches completed out of 964,800. I am at 0.21%. So, and then next week I'll move to portal 6, and then I can start back over at portal number 1 again. I had briefly considered just continuing that, where I just kind of rotate through each portal every week. But then I was like, you know what? It's like, I kind of want to be able to see some progress on each portal, like a good amount. That's why I was like, maybe I'll just do like, I'll rotate through the portals monthly. Okay, so that's portals. And then Honeymoon Sunset. We'll continue to get work on it. I have not calculated how many stitches I need to get to 47%, but I feel like it's going to be a couple thousand, which means that I need to really up my game on this week. That piece right there. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention when I was showing it is, so like, if you're a longtime viewer, you know that my highest color has been 37.79, right? That's like the one where when I was doing my 25K in 25 weeks challenge last year, I was like, man, I could do the entire challenge with this one color and it still won't be completed. Well, I am very pleased to announce that 37.79 is now below 24,000 stitches. So it's now at 23,981 stitches remaining of that color. So that's super exciting. And I still only have 4 colors below 100. I'll show the piece in a minute. Well, here, let me just do it like this. But I'm going to show you where I'm going to work. We're going to hold the part up where I'm going to work. How about that? There we go. So I have 4 colors under 100 stitches, but I have 2 colors that are at 102 and 103 remaining. So we're making some progress here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 that are between 100 and 200 stitches remaining, which on a piece this big, that's really cool. But it's funny that I am at 46.60% and I have not zeroed out one single color. And the lowest color is still 67 stitches. So, but I'm going to continue working in this area here. Picking symbols and filling this in bit by bit. So I think what I'll probably do is continue, like, I might try to get like these annoying purple flowers. They're pretty, the daisies, I think they are. But it's just so much confetti in them. So what I might end up doing is, because these are all those daisies right here, I might try to concentrate on getting those done. And then when I like maybe do like 2 or 3 colors in those flowers, and then working on some of the green, because the green like goes through, right? But I need to get those flowers done because they're super annoying. These are yellow flowers up here, and then those awful red ones. They're not awful, they're really pretty, but they're just a pain in the ass to work. But what I want to try to do is get this filled in so that it's kind of like all, that'll probably take me the rest of the year, if not more. But yeah, so I'll keep working on that, and then hopefully when you see me again, I will be at 47%. Oh, it's gonna be rough. It might be like maybe 1,800. Like I said, I got a math. Is that all the whips that I gotta work on? Are those my plans? I showed Monopoly. I showed my bake-off, temperatures. Those 3 there. Yeah, okay, all right. So those are my plans for the week. I will be putting up a plans video probably towards the end of October. I'm still kind of hashing through what I want to do for next year. I had a few different ideas rolling over around in my mind. And I don't know exactly what I want to do. So I'm done showing whips. So if that's all you're here for, then you can go. Bye. It was good seeing you. But if you want to hear me muse over next year's plans for a brief moment, then feel free to stay, because I'm just going to kind of talk some stuff out here. So my plan is to I'll do an official plans video in a couple months once I kind of get everything finalized. This is just this is what I'm thinking, tell me what you think kind of thing. It's Gracie. Hi, Gracie. Hi. Hi, Gracie. Meow. Okay, so I plan on keeping Honeymoon Sunset out, and I plan on keeping Honeymoon Sunset out, right? Because I want to try to get that done maybe by the end of 2030, right? So I got to keep it out so I can keep working on it. Catching Rays, I need to keep out because it's over 1 million stitches and it's never going to get done if I don't continue plugging away at it. What I plan on doing with Catching Rays, I'm not entirely sure yet. Same with portals. I need to keep that one out because it's 960 something thousand stitches. My plan with that is probably going to be to, the end goal will be one portal every 2 months. Whether that is one portal, like portal 1 in January and February, portal 2 in March and April, or if I do January portal 1, February portal 2, March portal 3, rotate through them, and then when I get to the summertime, start back over at portal 1 and rotate through them again. No set stitch count on them, just plug away at them and get some stitches done. So those 3 definitely are staying out. And then I was thinking about doing Whip Go next year. And with Whip Go, I had a couple different ideas. One was the alphabet thing that Jade does. I worked it out where I could do, there's 25 blocks on the Whip Go board. Honestly, I don't remember if there's, oh my God, are there 25 or 26 letters in the alphabet? I think it's 25. Wow, that's really sad. 25 letters in the alphabet, I believe. So there's one block for every letter. I had a brain fart because my full name is 26 letters long. That's what it is. My full name is, so my name is longer than the alphabet, first, middle, and last. Which always killed me when I was a kid. Both my maiden name and then my married name are longer than the alphabet. I think that's what was throwing me, that's what threw me off. The 26 was stuck in my head. So there's 25 letters in the alphabet. There's one block for every letter. So I was like, okay, well, I could do one letter, like randomly dispersed on the Whip Go board, one letter per block, and I will have non-full coverage only on this Whip Go board and do 500 stitches per piece like I'm doing right now. But it'll be random which alphabet letter gets called, and I would do 2 pieces. I was debating between one list or 2 lists, because when I look at my non-full coverage only, I actually do not have 2 per letter. I have 2 per letter for a lot of them, but not all of them. And then there's like 2 letters that I actually don't have anything that starts with that letter. X and Z are the 2 letters that actually 3 letters, because X, Z, and Q. X, Z, and Q. I do not have letters for the full thing. I have a full coverage that starts with a Q. Or what was it? Did I leave Q off completely? I did. I left Q off. There's 26 letters. What? I'm so confused. I don't know my alphabet. I'm stupid. That is not a bit of trivia that I need to keep in my brain at all times. So that kind of went away. I have my list right here. And I have 25 listed out. And I'm just now realizing that Q is not there. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm really not that dumb. I promise. But, yeah, so I have a letter per block, 2 whips per letter, non-full coverage only. If I don't have, like, I think J, I only have 1, James Dean. The only other J project I have is a full coverage. And so my second piece would be a new start. So that's how I could work new starts in. I could do that for the letter Z. Both of those would be new starts. And technically, the letter X, I could either do one of my alphabet things like Baby ABC and Christmas ABC or whatever, right? Or I could do new starts for those as well. So that's how I could work some new starts in without just being like, oh, screw my plans, I'm doing a new start. And then the other thing that I was also thinking about, so there was that for that. And then I was thinking about doing another whip go board with kind of concentrating on like my kids' pieces. Where I did Bathy Scaife afternoon tea, and then there's stockings. I have stockings from Heaven and Earth Designs, one for each of them. So that would be 4 pieces. I could put them on the board 6 times each and maybe do like 1,000 stitches on each block, right? And then if number 13 is supposed to be a free space, if number 13 gets called, I would just do 500 on each one for that number 13 call. Or just have it be a free space, because when 13 gets called, she does 3 numbers. So I was thinking about doing that for the kids' pieces. And temperatures, I was going to drop down to 1 whip of shame. I was going to have 3 temperature whips. 1 whip of shame, 1 finish the shit pile whip, and 1 just regular non-full coverage. And there would be 1,000 stitches, and they would get replaced. Even if it was a finish the shit piece, 1,000 stitches and it would get replaced with a different one. And the whip of shame would be assigned to 3 numbers, the non-full coverage would be assigned to 3 numbers, and the finish the shit piece would be assigned to 4 numbers. And then switch at 1,000. And then there was one more thing that I was thinking about doing. And I wouldn't be posting in Full Coverage Fanatics because I would be severely dropping the stitch counts. But Kim was doing a Full Coverage Fanatics Bingo Bonanza. And she has all these bingo boards set up for every month next year. And the idea for them is that you would do 1,000 stitches per spot on the bingo board to try to get a bingo with your whips, like with the prompts, right? And I was like, of course I want to try to get a blackout, but there's no way I can do 1,000 stitches on each spot. So I'm going to insert a picture of an example of the Full Coverage Fanatics January bingo board. And so I looked at the prompts and I was like, well, what if I did, because almost all the prompts I have a whip for. And I was like, well, what if I did a prompt, or if I did like maybe 200 or 300 stitches per prompt to try to get a blackout. And like, you know, for that week, like pick, you know, spin or whatever, pick different whips. What am I trying to say? Okay, so like, for example, for January, Cosmic Bowling, piece I haven't shown in a while. Cosmic Bowling, I have on here, I think 2 times for the month of January. And if I did, you know, if I spun my wheel or said, okay, these Bonanza whips are the ones I'm going to work on this week. And one of them was Cosmic Bowling. I would do, if I was doing 300 stitches, I would do 600 total. And then we would see which 2 prompts Cosmic Bowling met, and we would mark those off. And I was, because I went through all 12. It didn't take me very long, so it's not like I spent hours and hours and hours doing this. But I went through all 12 months, and I figured out what whips I could do. And there's actually quite a few full coverage whips that I could potentially work on for the year. But I don't know if I should do 200 or 300 per thing, because I want to make it like realistic where I could potentially get that work done and not be like, oh, well, I was supposed to work on this one, but I couldn't get to it because I had all this other stuff going on. So that's why I was kind of thinking maybe 200 per prompt. And, you know, it's like, I know someone's probably gonna be like, well, why don't you just do the 1,000 that they're saying in the game? Because 1,000 stitches can be a lot depending on the whip, and I don't want to get frustrated because it's taking me 2 weeks just to get one whip with 1,000 stitches. Because some of the whips in that month I would only work on one, so it's like, okay, let me throw a couple hundred stitches in this for this month. So that was kind of my thinking. I am, if you notice, I didn't mention Monopoly. I am going to end Monopoly at the end of the year. I have my fun with it, and I right now do not want to carry it into next year. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about doing, changing up the temperature stitching. You guys would still vote for the Whip of Shame replacement, possibly even the Finish the Shit replacement. I would pick the non-full coverage. And then the other thing, I gotta sit down and see exactly how much stitching all of this is going to entail. Because the final thing that I was kind of, I would still do Gridiron Grind. That's going to go through, so that will be on top of the Whip Go, the kids' Whip Go pieces. I would still work on Bathy Scaife and Afternoon Tea for Gridiron Grind. And I was also kind of thinking maybe with the stitch count that I'm doing right now for Bake Off, I'm kind of digging it. And maybe what I could potentially do is go back to collection 5 and go back to collection 5 and do it again, and just, you know, pick various whips that, you know, whatever. Like throughout the year until the new collection, like until the new season starts next year. So that's what I was kind of thinking. I will be making a video outlining all the plans, what I finally decide on. Probably end of October. I'm taking the week off, the week of my birthday, and I'll have a lot of time to like really think about it and then film. So anyway, if you guys have any thoughts about the plans I did, if you think it makes no sense, you know, feel free to let me know. If you think it's stupid, be like, oh my God, you're crazy. But I think that the Whip Go and Bingo stuff will work because I'm not going to be doing Monopoly. I think I'll be able to transition over to that instead pretty easily. So anyway, I think that's it. It's a lot. It's a long ass video. Probably close to 2 hours, I think. Anywho, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. If you like what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And I think that's it. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.